Alright, so with the soil that we already have and some old protein powder containers, we're going to be starting some indoor growing. So we have fresh produce throughout the winter. We have several plants that we've kind of gotten ahead on by leaving them in the greenhouse, even as we've gotten close to the frost point. And now we can set those down. The light itself, which we'll have later, we'll keep using. This light is from shopgoodwill.com. So we thrifted the light for about half the price of if it were new. And all of these containers, all 4 of these are just old protein powder containers that I kept because they're nice and they would work good for this sort of situation. So that's the beginning of the setup. We're going to get a bunch of these plastic tubs and fill those up to do a bunch of potato plants. I'm going to try a potato plant in here, just one potato plant. Hopefully this volume is somewhat okay. But this is our first time doing anything like this, so we'll just have to see how it turns out. But we'll fill this area up a whole lot more soon. Alright, so we went to the thrift store. I'm zooming in on your face. We went to the thrift store and we got these wonderful items. Okay, these are some plastic tubs that we will use to hold the soil for the plants. And I think it was maybe $20 total from the thrift store. We're going to be using this jug. This is a jug that my school used to use to water, like, no, I think it might have been for pesticide actually. I don't know. I think it was just for watering plants around the school campus, but they literally don't do that anymore, which is sad and dumb. But this was from the school, and I just ended up taking it because it was going to be thrown away. So that's what it looks like right now. We've got this really long one, which is perfect because anything beneath these shelves isn't really going to always get enough light. So this can sit right here and get all this light here. This will be for potatoes because it's deep. That will be for probably some sort of bean plants. But right now, that's the idea. Okay, hello. We are currently driving to the orange home improvement store. Not that I like that much, but we need soil. And while I personally recommend stealing soil, I'm not even lying. Like, just go get soil from somewhere. Most people don't care, it's dirt. Lots of people give dirt away for free. But we're gonna head to the orange home improvement store. We're gonna get that soil and we're gonna use that to fill each of the containers. We probably need more containers, honestly, like if we just want maximum yield and lots of food, but for now this will probably be fine, so that's what we're gonna go for. So we'll record us getting the soil and considering whether or not we should get some gravel. $10? Is soil expensive?
This is 5.
Yeah, but this is 1.5 cubic feet and this is not, probably.
This is
1 cubic feet. This is 1.5. Essentially, no, it's the same price per cubic foot almost.
okay.
Look, topsoil.
Do we want topsoil then?
I don't know. It says it's for seeding and filling. And like
Seeding grass though, not
yeah,
veggies.
it's dirt. I want to do this from the perspective of like the cheapest people possible. Like, how do I make this cheap for people? So topsoil it is. Oh, it's kind of heavy.
Oh, that was bad.
Correct. Maybe the next few ones won't be as loud. Yeah, see? These are 3, so 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's do 4.
Okay.
And then we'll add a couple of bags of the nice soil and we'll mix this all together.
Of one of the nice ones?
Yeah.
Okay. We only need one of to mix with everything, you know?
That is 1.5 cubic feet.
And if it's just mixing, that should be fine.
Okay, so that's 20 plus 8, $30 of dirt. Okay. Now these rocks don't look worth it.
They're also too big.
I'm not paying for rocks.
Ah, okay. No,
Even though I'm willing to pay for dirt.
no rocks.
Yeah, man, that's expensive.
Okay.
For rocks. We could just take the soil from the garden.
Ah. Keep them out.
Alright, she found the seeds.
Because my brain is on.
Wait, no, what are you grabbing? Let's talk about what we're
Herbs.
grabbing.
I'm grabbing herbs.
Parsley, basil, rosemary.
Things that we've been using, especially now that we're cooking at home. Like trying to home make a lot of stuff.
A lot of this isn't interesting for the rest of the containers.
You're not wrong. I'm actually just trying to find all sorts of herbs right now.
They have more wax beans, but do you think we need... Let's just get them.
Just one.
Because we're going to do that one tray.
Yeah. We have onion. We don't have onion.
I want to do onion and garlic. Like a full-size onion. But it's always bunching onions.
I don't mind bunching onions.
You want to do a pepper?
No, I don't like peppers in here.
We should hypothetically be good on tomatoes because we have a couple in the greenhouse that we can bring in.
Yep. Just trying to see in here without hurting it.
Just move the plant.
Want to try a watermelon or something?
No. I don't want to try corn either.
I was actually looking
Inside.
for like big onions, but I don't actually see those. You know? Oh wait, here. Onion.
Carrots?
Onion. Carrots would be a good try inside.
Rainbow
actually.
mix.
Rainbow mix?
I'm just curious about what that would taste like.
Carrots.
Okay. Alright, record me loading this.
Okay.
You just keep it on the whole time?
Yeah. I just covered it when we were like super walking in front of people.
Oh shit, I ripped it.
That is why the tarp is down.
Yes. Damn, these are like 50 pounds each. They're not 50 pounds, they're like 30. Actually, I'm starting to rethink that. How many pounds is this?
It says 28 liters.
What's the density of dirt?
I don't know. It's interesting that it doesn't say the weight.
What do you think it would say the net weight for the sake of shipping? Wow, it actually doesn't say the net weight. Okay, so this is the first time we've ever rented a car to do all these sort of things at once. This is actually split into two. We're not just renting a car just to move the dirt. We could use my trailer on the bike. But I also moved a bunch of electronics from the classroom back home, and that's expensive. So that's all taken care of. We're moving this soil while we have the car rented, but we're gonna go on a trip to the mountains. And in total, like, the car with insurance, because we don't have insurance because we don't need it, the car was like, what?
$250.
Maybe $250. I thought it might have said $220, but maybe after the insurance it was up to $240 or $250. So, in terms of that, those economics are great. We could do that 10 times a year and still not even approach the cost of a car. It would be $2,400 a year to do it 10 times a year. That's nothing. So
They do put a $300 hold on your
credit card, but we have good credit and are financially savvy, so it doesn't matter. But now we got the soil. It's only like 40 bucks with seeds, enough seeds to grow everything indoors for a very long time. So we use it at the Walmart because we're getting stuff for the camping trip. Look at this, on the discount, just a bunch of plant fertilizer for $1.50 each. Yeah, it's a 2,4-3 that's pretty good for it's pretty good for just like normal potted plants. So that's really exciting. I'm just gonna get like 4 of these because I generally don't like buying fertilizer because I like using our compost, but this works and it's $1.50. It costs nothing. Alright, most of the soil part is done. We've got all these filled out, pretty much about as much as they could need to be, depending on the plant that we'll be growing. I mixed in some of that $1.50 fertilizer. I fertilize super lightly, so That'll be fine. These deep ones are going to be for potatoes, maybe 2 to 3 plants each. Maybe like a plant here, up here, and then here, hopefully to get that sort of 12 inches away situation. 6 potato plants would be great. We can fit a whole bunch of wax bean plants there, a bunch of herbs here, maybe some all of her different parsleys and basils, but also maybe onion and garlic, or 2 plants of each or something like that. There might be room in here too. We'll go plant downstairs in a second. So, but that's what that looks like. This is, you know, $28 of plastic bins, $20 of soil, so that's $50, and then $20 of seeds, that's $70. You know, probably in 1 year we'll yield back all of this money, and we'll keep reusing this soil and reintegrating it into the main garden every summer. And that fertilizer is unbelievably cheap. So, and we fertilize so lightly it barely matters. But that's what we're looking at right now. Okay, so this is everything in its place except for that blue one, which I'll move back in a second. So here's all the bins. This one will be mostly herbs. This is a potato plant. I just wanted to see how tiny you could grow a potato plant. I don't think this will do well. These are some bunching onions. This is a tomato plant. These will be potato plants, hopefully 3 potato plants each. And then down here, oh, more dirt. And these will probably be bush beans and maybe a tomato plant, or some sort of configuration of onions. We'll have to see, because we'll sow everything, and I'm sure some things just won't germinate, so we could always transplant things from the greenhouse and add them to here. We're going to go ahead and actually Alright, well with that, we have seeded most of everything. Right now the plan is to just fill this water jug and then use a hand waterer. But the long-term hope is to 3D print and mount a simple 12-volt pump on there. And then maybe build out a drip irrigation system and put it on a timer. But at that point though, I'd like to use some of this space and just do a hydroponic system and test out that, because that's actually what I've always been most interested in, because it doesn't require soil, and in a way it can cost less if you know what you're doing.
It is now the following day. We went to the mountains, went camping. The stars were awesome. It was great. Dropped that car back off and then took the light rail back home. And I just wanted to summarize thoughts on our indoor garden. I'm not sure what the language is. What do I really call this? Like indoor growing space, indoor garden. I mean, it's just, we're just growing food indoors as we get ready for this winter. So in total, I want to go through the math, talk about the viability, just like I like to do with anything that I invest in or mess around with. The bins themselves, all the plastic bins, including that extra orange one you saw, which we bought at the Walmart new, which I don't like buying new things new, especially plastics. But we just needed more space, and we'll keep it forever, just like all of our other plastic bins. In total, the bins were about $30. So $20 were thrifted, and that was most of them. And then one alone was like $8 from Walmart, which is so dumb. But $30 for bins, $20 in seeds. So that's $50 total right now, plus $20 in soil, which is what? No, it's $30 in soil. So we're talking 50 plus 20 for seeds, 20 for soil. So I believe that's 90. And the light panel itself was about 110. So that gets us to 90, 110, $200 for the whole system. Soil, fertilizer, we spent like $5 on fertilizer. And like got a lot of it too. So, you know, let's round up just for all kinds of things. I also, if you do the math on like, it's a 200 watt light, and if it were to run all year, it would be, I did the math at 13 cents a kilowatt hour, it would be like $10 a year to run that light, which is like nothing if you think about it. Let's say it's $250 for this whole system, relying really heavily on thrifting and trying to source your money well. What I'd like to consider is how much food will we have to grow to recoup the cost? And it comes down to the value of the things that we grow. Those Roma tomatoes alone, if we can get 2 Roma tomato plants to have anywhere near the kind of yield that we get outside, that's $60 in a year. And that's just one harvest. I mean, if we do multiple harvests of Roma tomatoes alone, we could be talking $100 because we can and use all those tomatoes. Like, we can them, we actively use them, we cook with them really often. The onions don't cost a lot. Maybe we could do $10 of onions. So like let's do a tally. I think we could probably get about $50 of tomatoes because we're talking organic, whole, whatever tomatoes technically, and we're going to get a lot of them probably. So assuming good yields, let's do the math. We are going to be growing a bunch of potatoes, probably only $20 worth though because the potatoes are so cheap. We're probably going to grow about $20 of potatoes, and then maybe about $50 of tomatoes. We've pretty much grown $50 of tomatoes this year alone. Organic Roma tomatoes are expensive, technically. So that's $70 in this year. If we talk about all of our little parsleys and basils and rosemary, I'm sure we could get about $20 out of that. So that's $70, $80, $90 in a year. Our bush beans, we're talking about organic golden wax beans. I'm going to Google that real quick. How much is an organic wax bean? Wow. Okay. So wow, that's interesting. Wax bean. Whole Foods. Weird. It's like you can't even find actual wax beans from like a Whole Foods. Well, we prefer wax beans significantly to green beans, but we're not going to get like a lot of money in just terms of the bean plants, but we are going to get a lot of personal use because we like eating them and we add them to all kinds of dishes. So that'll end up in the food. Let's say we do $15 of wax beans because we are going to have like several plants of them down there. In 1 year, we will maybe get $100 of food out of this. But I'm thinking in terms of one harvest. So in 1 3-month period, we could get $100 out of this. And we're starting everything now in October. We're starting everything now in October. So that's October, November, December, January. And then you can't grow anything really in Colorado without a greenhouse. You can't grow through February, March, and barely through April. So we could easily get 2 harvests, about $200 of organic food out of this system, which is a less than 1 year return on investment. And how many hours of work do we put into this? Like 3, 2.5 or something? We'll have to water occasionally, but like that, it's not really hard, and we're going to be working towards figuring out some sort of automation anyway. One of the things we did sort of neglect to consider is the watering bin that we got. That will make life convenient, but it would not be very hard to walk over to the bathtub, fill up a watering can, and walk 8 feet back to our little gardening space. So in total, solar punk is common sense. So, even though we hate capitalism, solar punk just saves you money. There is a huge monetary incentive to just grow more of your own food if you're going to eat it anyway. So this is going to be super exciting. There are considerations though. There's a chance that there is some sort of native-born indoor mold that is going to murder all these plants. I've seen it happen before, and it could happen again. So I'm going to be conscious of that. But otherwise, if this is successful, it's going to be a huge success. And it's something that we could keep for years and years. And it's very easy to move because it's just tubs of dirt and a light and some water that you fill it with sometimes. So this isn't hard for an average family. One important note that I did want to acknowledge was like, I mean, you got to have someone in your family unit who can move all the dirt. You're going to need a way to move the dirt. Our bike trailers could have moved that dirt in 2 trips probably. That would have been more inconvenient, but we could have moved them in a bike trailer. But someone has to physically lift that dirt. You're going to need someone who has enough strength to do that consistently without risking injury. So there's a bit of, we got to think about the ability of people and how easy this is to adopt. But if every family unit has some teenage boy, not that I'm teenage anymore, but some teenage boy, and be like, hey, you like this one food, right? Let's just put this together real quick and keep it for the family. And this just really reinforces too the power of thrifting. Just thrift things. I barely buy anything new. I buy like nothing new anymore. I mean, this microphone was thrifted. This camera was bought in a clearance rack. Just buy stuff thrifted. Just always look to those areas. You will always find great deals and save money. And if you use your head, you can really make solar punk stuff. Growing your own food, you can just make it so much more accessible. So this will be our experiment. I'll report back in a few months to see how things are growing and how my wonderful plant children are doing. And sometime soon, once snow hits, I'll do a follow-up video on that solar panel I'm using to charge my electric vehicles for getting to work. That'll be a really interesting discussion. It's been pretty much perfect so far. But I do occasionally check the voltage and I'm like, oh, it's kind of low. What's going on? We'll see. But yeah, we have thrifted our way to an indoor garden. Cool.